On this week's episode, we're going to take you through an anatomy of a speed skate. We left the frozen tundra of Michigan and came all the way down here to Florida to check out how speed skates are made in custom boot manufacturing. We're going to take you through all the different pieces and parts of how a speed skate works, and we're going to have a special interview with a custom boot manufacturer. So stick around, you're not going to want to miss it. We made it.
In the very back.
In the very back.
Oh no, there's rows behind us.
So I'm outside the shop here in Florida of a custom skate manufacturer, Dave Simmons, and I'm going to take you through the anatomy of a speed skate, and I'm going to go through it piece by piece and then show you exactly what goes into making one of these custom skates. All right, so this is what a speed skate looks like. It's designed for speed, all right? Everything about it is designed for being fast. So the way it's put together is you have a custom carbon fiber boot, okay, custom molded to your foot. And then you have a frame or a chassis. Most people call them frames. And then on that you have wheels. Now the wheels and the bearings are very specific for speed skating. You notice these wheels are really, really, really big. Okay, they're 125 millimeters. The reason why the wheels are so big is because it reduces drag when you're skating outside. When you're going in a straight line, it makes the roll efficiency way, way better. So for a normal roller blade that has like little 84 millimeter wheels that are plastic, for the amount of time it takes you to go, let's say 50 meters, you'd take probably 50 steps, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, all the way to 50. With these bigger wheels, the way they're formulated is you take one stroke and it'll get you way, way further. So for that same 50 meters, you might only have to take 5 strokes versus 50 strokes. So they're designed to roll better, and they're designed to roll smoother and go over bumps better. Now the formula of these wheels is dual banded formula, and what that means is on that nylon hub, there's 2 different types of urethane that are inside of this wheel. So if I were to take this wheel and cut it in half, what would happen is you would be able to see 2 different types of urethane. So they take the hub and they put a band around it of urethane. And then that band is a different hardness than the urethane that they mold around the top of that. So then they take the hub and the band and they put it in the mold, and then they pour the urethane over top of it. That makes this urethane 2 different types of material inside of that wheel. And what that does is it gives the wheel a lot more rebound and a lot more roll. That way you can have a softer material that rolls like a harder material, and it gives you a lot of snap, which gives you more speed. And that's what speed skates are designed for. They're designed for speed. So with the bearings, the bearings go inside the wheels, and then you have this axle that spins and comes out. So the axle actually threads into the other side of the frame. Then you take the wheel out, and if I show you just the axle, this has the thread right there that goes into. So as I put this through here, it goes into there, and then it threads into the other side like so to tighten it down. Now the wheel has 2 sides bearing in either side. You have a bearing in either side of the wheel, and you just pop those out. So as I take the bearings out, you can see that there's a spacer in the middle. So you have one bearing on this side, you have a spacer in the middle here, and then another bearing on that side. And the reason you have a spacer in the middle is so that when you tighten this frame down, it doesn't bind on the wheel and stop it from rolling. So that spacer allows this pressure to be into here and go through there, and the wheel, once you get it in there, will then spin free. And when you put it back in here, you slide it in like so, line that up, you take this, put that in like that, and then you take your wrench, stick your wrench in, tighten it down, and then you give it just a quarter turn, not too much because you don't want to over tighten it, just a little quarter turn to get that to be nice and tight, and then it spins free. Now as I take this out of here, I'm going to show you the bearings that are inside of it. So I pull that out, I put the axle back in because I never want to lose this axle. But then to get the bearings out, a lot of people use a bearing press, but sometimes you can, because it's nylon, you can just pop that out like that. Now the bearings that are used in these skates are high quality bearings, ABEX 7 or higher, that spin super fast and super free. There's all different types of bearing companies. This particular bearing is a Simmons Rana company, which is the Simmons brand, and it's an ABEX 7, and it rolls super fast, and it's made specifically for low rolling resistance and extra speed, because that's what you want when you speed skate. So with the different types of wheels that they have all different hardnesses, and they have all different types of hubs, all different band widths, shapes, sizes, hardnesses, and depending on the surface that you're racing on, depends on what type of wheel that you choose. Now there's all different brands of wheels as well, so each brand has their own specific formula, and each brand has a soft, a medium, a hard, a big band, a small band, a wide band, a thin band. Like there's all different variations to get the best performance depending on the type of surface that you're racing on. So each wheel company has their own specific formula and their own specific purpose for each wheel. So once you find the wheels that you like that work the best, then that's the ones that you choose. And then if it's a super rough surface, you want a little softer wheel. If it's a super smooth surface, you want a little harder wheel. That's the general rule of thumb, but everyone has their own different formula of what types of wheels, what brands of wheels, and what hardnesses of wheels they like to race on. Sometimes they even mix and match hardnesses, where they put softer wheels on the ends and a harder one in the middle, or a softer one on the toe and a harder one back here. And all of those variables are dependent on the type of surface that you're racing on and also the distance that you're racing. Now that I've talked to you a little bit about the wheels and about the bearings, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the frames. Now the frames, the higher end frames like this, are made out of a special aluminum. Now the aluminum, it says right here, 7075 T6 aluminum is what this particular frame is made out of. And it's a high quality aluminum that allows a little bit of flex, but not too much. That gives you a little bit of flexion to it, but it also is stiff enough that it gives you a lot of pop off the end of your stride. And they're all different types of frames, all different brands of frames, all different thicknesses of the metal, all different shapes that are cut out. And then on top of that, there's different size wheels. Sometimes you have 4x100, sometimes you have 4x110, sometimes you have like this, 3x125. So depending on the size wheels and the types that you want to run, depends on the frame that you run. All the different frame manufacturers have all different sizes of frames as far as length and what amount of wheels. Some of them even have like 3 110s and then 1 100. And it all depends on the type of skater that you are, the type of speed that you want, the type of race that you're going to do, how old you are, your body shape, your body style, your skating style. Everybody is different, so you just kind of find what works best for you and go from there. So lastly, we're going to talk about the custom carbon boots. Now with these particular boots, these are handcrafted, made out of carbon, custom molded to the customer's foot. And what that means is they take an actual custom mold of your foot and they build the carbon right around that. Now I'm going to give you a special look at the inside of a custom skate manufacturer that actually produces these skates and makes them in his shop. I'm going to give you a little bit of an inside-in look into that, and then we're going to show you exactly what his process looks like. All right, so we're here at Simmons Racing, and we're going to go into the shop and see exactly what it's like to make a custom carbon boot. We're going to meet the man himself who makes the shoes by hand, Dave Simmons. All right, here we are. Here's the shop and the man himself. How you doing?
All right, man.
All right, so we're here with Dave Simmons at Simmons Racing here in Florida in his madhouse of a shop, which is amazing. I could just spend days and days in here looking at different things. So I want to know, how do you make a custom shoe from start to finish? So let's start with the molding process. How do you get like a mold of someone's foot?
Okay, so when we're going to make a mold, we're going to make something just like that. And that's just a mold of your foot. And the way that's done is it's just a real simple plaster wrap, some Vaseline, and a little technique of how it's done. You'll probably show a video of how that's done.
Yep.
And then so once we take the mold, then we'll fill that mold full of plaster, peel that away, and then you have this nice custom perfect casting of a person's foot.
Yeah, and you can even see like the details of like their toenails and everything, like every little spot on their foot, like every little bump, everything will show with that. So then once you have this, how do you go from this to getting something like that?
So from that, we have to modify this quite a bit. Okay. And then we take it and we're gonna vacuum carbon fibers and foam and padding and add to the toes or whatever we want, whatever changes we want to make to this piece.
Okay.
So it's going to end up looking basically like that.
Okay.
So this is the raw part of the carbon fiber that's been vacuumed down, and now it's ready to have this leather uppers all glued on and sewn on through the top side from there.
Okay. So then this plaster's inside of that carbon then,
yeah? Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
So then once you have that plaster and you get that plaster out of there, it makes that carbon fit to this person's foot like specific and exact.
Right. These
Very
are just
cool.
samples, but not exactly.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Just get the idea.
Very cool.
And so, but it'll end up just with a shell, basically a shell like this, and then we'll put the leather and materials on top.
Yeah.
So the leather, we call it uppers. So we sew out all these pieces, we make whatever custom colors it goes on, and this just basically glues on like that, and then like maybe a lace cover that goes on, something like that.
Okay. And then you can get custom colors and custom stitching and all of that put on it too?
We are 100% a total custom shop. So we
Okay.
make whatever somebody wants, whatever they idea they come up with.
Okay.
And we pretty much make that.
Very cool. And you have all this stuff in-house that you can do all this specific
Right.
stitching and everything.
We
yeah?
make everything in-house.
Okay.
And so my wife does all this part here,
Okay.
and then I do all of this part here.
Okay.
And then all she does is make this part, and then I glue all this together and finish it all up.
Okay.
So that's a major help that my wife does all
Very
the
cool.
work.
Awesome. Awesome. All right, so now that we figured out how to get from all of these custom pieces to get to a boot, what's the difference? Like if someone just wants to buy a stock boot versus something fully custom, because you know the price is quite a bit different, and you do sell stock shoes as well.
Yeah.
What's the difference between like a full custom one versus just a stock
So
one?
yeah, we do offer the stock versions, let's say like a size 9 or a size 8.
Yeah.
But that would come off of a standard last. Instead of using the plaster part for the custom,
Okay.
we're going to have a standard last. It's on the shelf, and we make a narrow version or narrow feet, and then we make a standard like this, and then a wide version. We're
Okay.
really probably the only company that does that.
Oh, so what is this last made out of? Is that just plastic?
Yep, it's just it's a plastic, and it's been around. It used to be, 100 years ago, they hand carved these out of wood,
Oh, okay.
and then they got more technical, and so and now they can even just print whatever you want.
So this is something that you order. It's not something that you make. In
Yeah.
the
So
shop.
what I do is I design the shape and everything that I want,
Yeah.
and then I send it off. They digitize it, and they make a right and left out of it, and then they make all the sizes from big to small,
Okay.
even down to there.
Oh,
but all I
alright.
got to do is develop the one perfect one, and they take it from there. And so
then
that's been around for
And then for
50 years.
for like the stock shoe,
Right.
then like this, there's not any custom parts to
No.
that. It's just this stock last,
Yep.
and you just do the same process that we talked about with the custom. You just wrap the carbon around that,
Right.
and then pull it out.
But
and then,
these can be made in production, and they can be put on the shelf.
Yeah.
And the whole idea is somebody calls up and they say, "Hey, I want a size 8."
Yep.
And immediately you just ship it out and go.
Okay.
So-
Is there a significant work amount difference between like a stock one versus a custom one, where you're doing real specific things
All the
with
work
custom?
comes here.
Yeah,
This is what makes this so expensive.
with the custom one. Yeah.
With the custom one, most of the work goes into this, and the
Okay.
knowledge of since 1991, this is what I've been doing every day.
Yeah.
Is modifying this to make that perfect.
Okay.
So when it skates, it has perfect edges and all that.
Yeah.
So when I learned all about this, then I said, okay, I can make a stock shoe and put the knowledge into that.
Yeah.
For the average perfect skate that skates, very nice and not be custom.
Okay.
And so those things that I have developed, believe it or not, it's like a race car, like a Porsche race car. It may not be like the most comfortable car, but it performs.
Yeah.
It pushes, it's got edges and it steers. It actually steers.
So you're
And
looking
that's-
more for performance rather than comfort.
Yeah, well, we got to break it in between.
Yeah.
So that's why we have the fastest #1 world record skates for
Yeah.
stock shoes.
Okay,
So
for
that's-
stock shoes.
For stock shoes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's a pretty impressive deal.
It is.
Because customs, that's automatically, that's the way it's going to go.
Yeah.
And so when you're on that level, and they're skating on stock shoes and breaking the world records, that means I knew what I was doing when I made this
The
little
stock shoe.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. That should fit pretty much anyone. That you can just buy off the shelf.
Yep, off the shelf. So
Very
I have
cool.
off-the-shelf boots that are faster than the fastest in the world.
Yeah.
No matter what shoe it is.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's why we are the world's fastest stock shoes.
Very cool. Very cool. How long ago did you get started?
Well, I started back from skating when we had quad boots, like in '89 and 1990s. That was the thing, and everybody skated quads, racing.
Yeah.
They did that for 100 years, like
Yeah.
that. And then inlines came out in the early 90s. And what happened was the wheel development. They started making wheels that would work good indoors.
Okay.
And so they said, okay, so then they made big plastic boots, like ski boots.
Yeah.
And they would mount the frame and the wheels on the bottom of it. And they made them for indoors.
Okay.
And so that's when it started. So since 1991, that's when I've been in business.
Yeah.
Every day doing it.
Very cool. So you've been doing this a really long time, and you've obviously perfected the craft of doing this. And you've worked with the #1 athletes in the world for many, many, many years.
Mm-hmm.
You know how many world championship gold medals that your
Absolutely
product has
not.
done? It's so many that you don't even know.
I don't even have a clue.
That's why they call it simply the best.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That's awesome. So for a new skater, what would be, because you're a coach too, and you've coached a lot of different athletes over the years, what would be your number one advice for someone new getting into the sport?
So if they're real young and let's say they're 5 years old, we developed a really narrow shoe for kids so they can have a lot of growing room. Because when you get a shoe that's with a lot of growing room, it's also too wide this way.
And then
so
the
that's why
ankles
we
are
have
floppy.
That's the main reason why we have that narrow boot.
Okay.
So they can get a lot of growing room and it's still not flopping the ankles.
Okay. Yeah. Which works good.
So that's for that. If you're 15 years old, then you need to figure out which width you are.
Okay.
And so by far the best thing in the world to do is put them on and try them on.
Try them on.
You know, but it's mail order. If we're not, if you live in Alaska and I live here in Florida, it's got to be shipping.
Yeah.
And so that can be a pain sometimes to get the perfect size.
Yeah.
So my wife does that. She handles all the customers, and you do a foot tracing. And it's important, how to do the foot tracing, just holding a pencil straight up and down, giving the measurements to us, and how old you are, and what advance. Are you a beginner skater? Do you need a taller boot, or do you need are you a pro? You need a longer boot. Yeah. There's a lot to it. But you just got to ask questions.
Yeah. But hey,
by far, if you're in the skating rinks, is try somebody's boots on.
Yeah.
Hey man, can I just try your boot on and skate on it for 5 minutes just to see what it fits like?
Yeah.
That's what you want to do.
Best way to do it.
That's really the best way. You gotta ask.
So with all the years you've been doing this, what's the most fun thing about your job? What do you like the most?
Well, I enjoy working, so I love to work. So you gotta, and this is a real labor of love, because this is custom every day.
Yeah.
And so I don't like the cookie cutter type work where you go in and
And he's also a perfectionist. Just throwing that in there.
Well, and it's a craftsmanship.
Yeah.
So those things kind of keep me motivated.
Yeah.
And to keeping new ideas and but what's fun? The funnest part is I competed for 20 years.
Yeah.
The funnest part is making my own shoes and going and skating on them. And then either I'm like, man, this shoe this is horrible.
Yeah.
But then when you get one and you put it on and you skate and you're like, this is amazing.
Yeah.
This is exactly what I wanted to feel like.
Yeah.
And so when you have a shoe like that, it's worth its weight in gold.
Yeah.
And it's perfect. It's like never give up on that shoe because it's so hard to get that absolute perfection feel.
Absolutely.
So I mean, when you're at that level of racing, for nationals,
very cool.
Whatever, so
awesome. Well, thanks for your time. I really appreciate you letting us see your shop and see how the process works. And if you want to check out Dave Simmons, you can check out his website, which is
Simmons-racing.com.
Simmons-racing.com. You can see all his amazing work. All the contact information is on there too, and we'll have some links in the description for it as well.
That's the other thing, is to go on Instagram and Facebook, because I post every time I post. It's mostly 99%. It's just my shoes.
Yeah.
And every different custom shoe I made. I've made thousands and thousands of different ones.
Yeah. And what's your Instagram?
David Simmons, Simmons Racing.
David Simmons, Simmons Racing. Perfect. Well, thanks for your time. I really appreciate it. It's always a pleasure.
Awesome. Thank you.
Sweet. So if you like this content, click like and subscribe. I release a new video every Saturday. Each video is different aspects of roller skating. This one was extra special because we got to see the inside look of Simmons Racing and how custom boots are made. But again, if you like this content, click like and subscribe. Hit that notification bell and you'll get notified of every new episode when it comes out. Also, check out our website, terryhall.com, for all of our birthday party information, private parties, school parties, all that's on there, terryhall.com. We also have an online pro shop, terryhallproshop.com, for all your skating needs, so check that out. Again, thanks for watching, and we'll catch you next week.